Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's dark out here, but it's soon going to be light, and we're heading towards the light. So the theme for today is the first sutra, which is Atha, which there are many different translations, but one of them is Yoga Now. And I think I introduced this quite a while ago, but this is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, a visual meditation by Melissa Townsend, an artist. And she takes each of the sutras and makes a painting, which is really quite beautiful. And this is the first sutra. Now we begin the study, the exposition of yoga. And she writes, the tradition of the first sutra serves to state the intention of the book and the subsequent sutras. Sorry, I just have to get my dog who is whining. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Sorry, by using the prefix anu in the word sanam, Patanjali indicates that the material that follows is not his creation, but is his consolidation and transcription of instruction about a practice and tradition that already exists and that has been followed for a considerable period of time. It is an exposition of this practice of yoga. So Patanjali's sutras are considering kind of origin texts, but Patanjali himself is kind of a bit of a fictional character. They don't really know who he is, or he could have been more than one person writing this, just as the Bible has many, many different sources. The image on the painting of this is of spilled milk, which takes a little bit of artistic license with the traditional meaning. Now is now that the milk is spilled, now that our life has been lived and the milk has been spilled, that the mess has been made, now that things have fallen apart, whether by our own doing or another's, now is the time that we begin to practice yoga. Of course, now, this present moment is the only time that actually exists. Now is the only time in which it is possible to do anything, including this practice of yoga. So I do love this notion of being here now. And when I was a hippie, that was a watchword for me, was working to be present to myself. And it's taken me my whole life to continually repeat that little mantra, to be present. And now I'm present in a body that's a little less less supple than it once was, but an hour of yoga and I find myself restored. All right. So we're going to begin in mountain pose, being present, standing, and we're going to lift our toes up. Lift our toes up, and then we're going to stretch them out. Lower down first the baby toe and then the big toe, and then we're going to rise up onto our toes here. I've just got my hands on my hips, and as you can see, I'm very wiggly. My balance is pretty terrible, but I am working on it assiduously. And then we're going to lower down, and we're just going to rise up and lower down, and rise up and lower down, up and down, up and down. There. Good. And then we're just going to lower down, and we can just prance our feet like we're horses here, and give our ankles a bit of a workout as well. Now we're going to stretch our arms out in front, and we're going to lift them above our head, and we're going to just feel what it is that our body needs at the moment. We need some breath, so we're going to inhale, and we're going to exhale. We're going to inhale to the bottom of our belly, and then to the top, and then we're exhaling from the top down. And we're going to stretch our arms out here, pressing the palms of our hands towards the side of the walls. When here's Miss Ruby come for a visit. And then we're going to press our hands out the other way. Pressing our palms out and then our hands. And now we're going to lift our shoulders up and roll them slowly towards the back. And we're going to feel the scapula come together at the back. And then we're going to lift from the back up. We'll feel the scapula come together. And then we'll feel them separate out. And we can actually coordinate our breath here too. So we're going to lift front to back. We're opening up as our chest opens. And then we're going to exhale. We can blow out our mouth if we want to. And then we're going to open our shoulders up. And then we're going to move them the other way towards the front. Good. Very good. All right. Good. And we're going to take our hand and we're going to do this. This is a very interesting thing I read about the other day, or I saw someone do. You take the diagonal, the side of your head, your neck, and you face it towards the ceiling. And you take the skin on your, right here on your, and you pull it. Let's see. Yeah, you pull it down here. So you take the skin on your upper chest on that side, and you take this arm. So your head is dropping towards your right ear. You take your right arm and you bend the elbow and you draw that shoulder back and you pull this skin down, and it does do a very interesting thing to your neck. I really quite like it. I hear nice cracklings and different things. So if you have neck problems, maybe don't do it, but I really quite like it. Good. And now you can get up. And then once again, you bend this elbow, the left elbow, behind your back. And then you drop your neck this way and you pull the skin. You pull the skin here. So I've actually kind of got my feeling that my neck, and I'm moving my neck around a little bit, not too aggressively because it is my neck. But I find that I adjusted my neck doing this yesterday. It was kind of incredible. All right. Okay, so that's a good neck thing. And here we'll do some just dropping the neck side to side, front to back, front to back. And then looking over your right shoulder, your left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder. And now we're just going to come down onto our hands and knees and do a bit of cat and cow. I have a dog here, but she's not doing the cat and cow. She's just getting in the way, aren't you, Ruby? Okay, so I'm here, and we're just going to do some dropping into what's known as the cow, and feeling your chest open here. And you can press I'm pressing my toes into the ground behind me, so I'm actually stretching my toes a little. And then I'm lifting up and into cat, and I'm really feeling the expansion in my back chest. So I can breathe in here to my back body, and then I can exhale. Breathing in, and then exhaling. Now we're going to start moving. So we're going to start breathing in, exhaling, and breathing in, and then exhaling as we come down. And then we'll breathe in with our chest open. And then we'll exhale as we come up. So we're inhaling, and we're exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Good. And we're going to use our arms here, our right arm, we're stretching it up, and we are threading the needle, as they say, and we are putting it through underneath our left arm, and we're just going to rest here for a moment. And if you like, you can lift that left arm up and wrap it around your back in a kind of bind, a half bind here. You don't have to do this, but you can. So all right. And now we can lift that arm up and put it down and come up again. And we're going to do that. We're going to lift the left arm up and underneath once, and then we're going to come back up again, and then under the right arm and then up. And this time we're going to let that shoulder find the ground, or some area near the shoulder find the ground, and we're going to lift. I'm lifting my left arm up, and I'm just putting the back of my palm on my hip on the other side. So this is a further opening. I've got my, you shouldn't feel any pressure in your neck. I'm actually on my upper arm, and I am feeling semi-relaxed here, I would say. And I'm inhaling and exhaling. And I'm feeling present. I'm feeling so present, I imagine I have a doggy at my side who's really irritating, but adorable. Okay, I'm lifting that arm up again, and I'm putting it down, lifting myself up, and putting both my hands down. Now we're going to work a little bit. Oops, you have to move over. We're going to work a little bit on the bird dog. So we are going to lift our right arm up and then our left leg up. Now, when you're doing this, so we're just going to kind of stabilize here, and it's a little bit of a balance posture. And while you're doing this, I want you to think about making sure that you don't strain your lower back. So if it's too much, just put your foot down. And you can do that a little bit by tipping, by instead of arching your back up, you can flex your spine or your lower spine a little bit down, so round it a little bit down. All right, and now we're going to come down. We're going to try the other hand. Here we go. There, and you can press the heel out, point the fingers. The palm is facing towards my head, my body on that, towards that side of the room, towards the back wall or the side wall. And now I'm going to come down. Good. Now, I think we'll come back for a moment into child's pose here. And I'm just going to, I was watching, I watched a lot of different yoga teachers, and I found a woman at Yoga Detour who's a really interesting woman, who obviously, I think she was an Ashtanga yoga teacher, and she witnessed many, many injuries. So one of her serious points in one of her videos is that in yoga, we tend to overextend our back, and people complain about having lower back problems, but it's because we don't really do our postures properly. So I'll just demonstrate a little bit. What she says is I'm coming up onto my hands and knees, and I'm just going to raise my right leg up, and I'm going to raise it up as far as I can. And you can see here, I'm really working in the lower back here. I'm going to injure my lower back. What she suggests is instead of kind of hyperextending here, you flex your lower back, so your leg doesn't come up as much, but that's not the point anyway. But so you're, instead of here, you're flexing, and this flex protects your lower back and allows you to lift your leg up without damaging it. So there are many postures we do where we tend to overextend instead of flexing our lower back, and I'm really trying to work on that. All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to try the other side. We're just extending our leg out, and we can do that. We can move into extension, or we can keep our lower back flexed. That is, we're sucking in our belly, and our leg doesn't go as high, but we don't injure our back. And now we're going to do the other side, pressing our foot out. And once again, we'll do the other side. And we're just going to be mindful of our lower back. Good. All right. Now, since we're down here, we might as well do a bit of a pigeon. So we're just going to lift our right leg up, and we're going to bend the knee, bring it forward, and move into our pigeon here. I have very crampy feet, so I have to press my toes into the ground to release some of the tension in my feet. But you can extend your toes out if you like. There's something there that I can't know there. Okay, there we go. And here the object is to have your spine curving nicely. So once again, you're not injuring your lower back here. You don't have a lot of pressure in your lower back. But what you are doing is you're really opening the hip flexor here, and you are also helping with your hamstring, your glutes on the bent knee. You can, if you like, move your foot out into 90 degrees, which is the full posture. In that case, you flex your foot. If you have it at less than 90 degrees, you point your foot. All right, so we're just here. And we might as well, if you feel you can, you could come down onto your forearms into a sphinx. And we're just going to breathe here for a moment. We'll just, and you can also come down all the way down if you like, and make a pillow with your hands and put your head down. So you decide what you want to do. And you can, of course, put a block underneath that thigh that's the hip that's bent. You can do that if you like. I'm just going to rest here now. I'm looking for the timer, so we've actually spent quite a bit of time here, so I won't belabor being here too much longer. But I will we'll stay about 2 minutes, I think, in this place. All right. Now, we'll come up here, and if you like, another lovely part of this posture is you can bend that knee and hold on to that foot and press into the foot and stretch. And this is a very good extension for your front thigh. And we'll just stay here for just a few more seconds. But this is very good for your front thigh. Okay, and we're going to let that down, and we can just move on to our roll onto our hip, and we can move to the other side. We can bend our leg here and move on to the other side. Here we are, feeling, I must say, I feel very present in this posture. I'm a real ruminator, and rumination, thinking and reflecting can be a good thing, but not when you're reflecting on the same hideous worries that really you have no way of fixing, or the patterns of thought that lead you to not good places. So being present and finding yourself really just being in your body, and change in these yin yoga practices. I'm pressing into my hands. I'm pressing into the top of my foot. And I'm really feeling my hip flexor in my extended right leg. Really, if it's not really, if you don't feel that it's extending, you can move that back leg back a bit. And I'm feeling it opening there. And I feel the glute really getting a lovely some attention here. Now we're going to go down again onto a kind of sphinx arms. And all the time we're breathing here, feeling the beauty of life, feeling what's possible. And I'm making a pillow with my hands and coming all the way down. Now, you may not be able to do this. As I said, you can take a block and put it under that hip there to give it a bit of a support. So you decide what you need. It's your body. And once again, we're just resting here. And once again, we can press our arms up to straight again, and we can do this rather potentially excruciating posture, which is you bend your knee, you reach back with your hand, you hold on to your foot, and you stretch the front of your thigh out here. And I can only stay here for a minute because I need to do this every day and I don't, or every other day. All right. And now I'm going to put that foot down, thankfully, and roll onto the back thigh. And I'm going to sit here for a moment now that my legs have been twisted and tormented in very good ways. And I'm putting my my feet up. I've got a strap here. If you need one, you don't need one. If you don't necessarily have to have one. And if you like, you can sit. I've got a little block here, but you could sit on a something or other. I have to say, one of the favorite things I have is in a little Japanese store. I found this little bean bag in the shape of a heart, and it's a perfect thing to sit on when you're doing these frontal stretches here. All right. So I'm putting my toe mounds in the strap, and I'm sitting up nice and straight. You can't see my back, but it is as straight as it possibly can be. And I'm feeling a lovely, the center of my head, that crown chakra. I'm imagining there's a string from the center of my head up to the sky, up to the moon. The moon is still up. And I'm just pressing into my heels. So Dandasana is a lovely, quite a strong posture. So if you don't want to use the strap, you just push your hands into the ground. And if I'm up on a block, I can put blocks there and press into them, because that helps you really straighten your spine here. So the object here is to feel quite a beautiful sorry about the interruption. The dog has to go out. Okay. All right. So we're pressing into my hands and my feet, and we are stretching forward now. Forward into the and I'm holding onto my feet. Once again, you can have your strap if you want to. If you're up here, that's fine, no problem. The point of this is to go to where your body wants you to be. And then in yin yoga, the point is to find your edge, that is where you can't really go any further and you don't want to go any further. And then you come back from there, and you might visit that edge again in a few breaths and then come back, so that you are incrementally moving that edge a little bit further along, because you don't want to just get stuck somewhere. You know, we have time to change and to deepen our practice. All right. And here I am just letting my head hang. And we've already been here for a minute or so. And I will set another minute here. I find it's interesting, the body has funny places of, I keep getting this funny little cramp in my front, just in front of my hip here. And I'm not quite sure why. So I'm just massaging it. This is the other thing. While you're doing yoga, you can in fact massage your body if it gets cramps, or give it a little self-care. Here we are. Such a beautiful posture this is. It's very relaxing, very liberating, really. And it is a posture, if you're feeling anxious, this is a posture that can really help you calm down. It helps me calm down sometimes. All right, and now we're just going to roll back, roll our spine up. And we can, in fact, here, we can lean back if we want. Just put our arms back here. And here we go. So I'm just leaning back. My palms are on the ground, fingers facing back, and pressing out in my heels and really opening my chest here. So this is a lovely counter posture to the Dandasana and the forward bend. Good. And now we're going to wrap our hands around our shoulders, give ourselves a little loving, and then we'll wrap the other arm on top, give ourselves a little loving. There we go. Good. Now, I think what we'll do now, since we seem to be in this pose, it just invites us to go into boat pose, which we don't do all the time. So we're sitting up, and we're going to bring our knees in, and keep our spine back, and we can hold onto our knees and lift one leg and put it down, so that we're on a little bit of a diagonal here, and lift the other leg and put it down. And then we can lift both knees and balance here if that's possible. And we can let go of our legs if we like. We can straighten our legs out, whatever feels comfortable for you at this moment. You might just have one leg up, but we're going to stay here for a minute, because it is an excellent idea to stay here for a minute. It's a very busy household today. All right, 23 seconds to go. Okay, I'm going to just press my legs out, and I'm going to put my feet down. That's enough for me. And we can come out of it. And I've just got my feet in a a cross leg here, and I'm just going to reach out so that I have a little forward bend as a counter stretch. All right, I'm going to come up, roll my shoulders back, put my arms out, give myself a little arm movement here, get my shoulders moving, and I'm going to reach back, clasp my hands, and bend over my bent legs here. And I'm just stretching here for a moment. And now I'm coming up. Good. Now let's do a few standing postures because we're very limber right now. And even though it has been extremely cold here, my house is finally very warm. It went from minus 37 to minus 25, and that is like springtime. Okay, so we're going to stand in Tadasana, and then we'll move our feet out quite wide, and we will turn our feet. We're going to move into Warrior 2. So we've got our legs straight, and we're going to bend the front leg, and we're going to dip down, as my teacher Cindy says, dip down, dip down, dip down, dip down, dip down. Oops, my back leg is dip down, dip down, dip down. And then we're going to stretch that front arm out, and I'm just going to drop my forearm onto my thigh and move my arm onto right beside my ear. So there's a lovely diagonal between the line of my back foot. And here I can open up, feel my chest opening up. And I've got this lovely puppy dog licking my fingers. Anyway, so as it turns out, doing yoga with your dog makes you very present because they remind you of this very moment that you are awake and awakening. And now I'm going to press into my forearm and lift up and move into this back movement. And I've still got my leg bent here. And now I'm going to lift up and press back with straight legs. Then I'm going to bend down my front leg and come back into that Warrior 2. And once again, turn my chest towards the ceiling. Feel the diagonal between the energy moving out the tip of my finger and feeling the grounding of my back foot, the outer back foot, edge of the back foot. Good. And now we're going to open our leg up into triangle and slide our hand down our shin and lift our arm up and look up into a beautiful triangle. And once again, I tend to lift my ribs up. So you want to feel you can use your hand even to move your ribs down, to keep them down and keep this lower side of your body stretching out too. Now you can have your hand lower down or on the floor or whatever, near the floor, wherever you like. Now we're going to come up again and we'll just lower our arms, wiggle our legs in a little bit, and we're going to do a forward bend here from the hips. This is just to open out our groin a bit, and we'll come down with a straight back. We can walk our fingers, our hands forward, the palms of our hand, and just feel the energy in our feet. I'm lifting my toes up and the arches of my feet. And you'll want to do this so that it's comfortable for you. You don't want to overstrain your groin. And we're just going to inhale and exhale here a few times. Here we go. And as I press my feet into the ground, I am
feeling my sit bones moving up. And I'm pressing back into my thighs to straighten my legs. And I find this stretch really liberating. Now we can walk our hands over to the right, and we can, if we're able to, we could hold on to our ankle and just let your head drop here. And feel, you can use your elbows to draw you further towards your leg. And then we're going to put our hands on the ground again, walk over to the other side, hold on to our ankles, and once again, we're going to acknowledge the asymmetry of our body, because it's amazing how difficult it is to do this posture on one side. So you just have to be compassionate with yourself and recognize that that our bodies are like that and life is like that, a bit asymmetrical at times. All right, coming back, and now we're just going to walk our hands back if we can between our feet, and we can, if we've got a block or something, we could put the top of our head on that block, or we could put it on the floor and just rest here for a moment. This is supposed to be quite good because you're kind of massaging that crown chakra on the tip top of your head. And that squeaking is not me. It's my dog. All right. And now we're going to lift our head up, hands below our shoulders. And I'm going to scoot my feet in a little bit closer, put my hands straight out in front of me so that my hands, arms are extended above my head. And I'm going to tip myself up with my arms up. You don't have to do this. You can put your hands on your hip and then put my arms down by my side, come in and just take a little bit of a break. My legs are definitely stretched out. So I'm doing some wiggles here, some twist and shout movements from my childhood. And then the other way, we're rolling our hips around. I took, before I started back to yoga, I took salsa lessons. And one of my neighbors, who's friends, was a very nice person. I was dancing with him, and he said, I said, I just don't know that I'm doing it right. And he said, well, Janice, you have to move your hips when you're doing salsa. And I said, well, I'm afraid my hips don't move. So that's one thing. I can definitely salsa now that I've done yoga. So let's move it around again. And then the other way, I'm surprised there isn't yoga salsa. That would be a good thing. All right. Now we're going to go back on the other side into we've got quite a wide stance here. We're turning, in this case, my left leg out. This mat is quite slippery, so I'm going to go into this mat. So I've got my left leg out and I'm bending that front knee. I'm rotating my back thigh, my ample back thigh, into external rotation, as this one is also rotating. And then I am just stretching out, stretching out, stretching out, and then dropping my arm down here. And here I'm dipping down, as Cindy would say, dip down, dip down, dip down. And then I'm extending my arm up on the diagonal, and I'm turning my chest towards the sky, wherever it is. When it's 37 below and sunny, you think, I guess I should feel better. But as it turns out, 37 below is a kind of dangerous temperature. Everything grinds to a halt. All right. And we're breathing here, and we're feeling our ribs are dropping down. We can suck in our belly a little bit. Feel, one yoga teacher talks about the organs in our body, inner organs, as jewels. So we can feel our jewels moving back towards our spine as we turn our chest up. And we're just holding here for a moment longer. And now we're going to bring our arm back, and we can arch back into peaceful warrior here. And then we're going to straighten our front leg out, and we're going to slide our arm down into triangle. And once again, feel a lovely opening in our chest as we lift our arms straight up. And we are just holding the pose. So one of the themes of Hatha yoga now, being here, is holding the pose, being here right now in this pose, feeling a sense of fluidity in our body. Even as we are in a posture holding the pose, there's movement in the pose. We're opening our chest, pressing into the outer edge of the back heel, lifting our front arch up. And now we're going to just windmill our hands back and drop our hands and maneuver back towards Tadasana. Oopsie. Oh. All right. So once more, the salsa hip movements. And this will help you in many ways in your life. All right. Okay. So I think we'll just come right down to our mat, and you can come down however you like, carefully. And we will go back into our bridge pose here. So we're on our back, and we have our legs, our knees bent. And one of the things that this woman at Detour or Yoga Detour suggested is sometimes we have our knees very close into our, when we're doing bridge, etc. We bring our feet very close into our buttocks here or behind, but we don't need to, because that can sometimes overstrain our knees. So she suggests that we actually maintain some distance there and have our knees bent, but not too close to your hips. And that allows for the front of the thighs to stretch without overstraining our knees. So that's something new that I didn't know until I listened to her talk about yoga injuries. Okay, so we're pressing into our feet. I have my arches raised. We're just going to tilt our spine up, and then we're going to roll our spine down. So we're just lifting a few inches off the mat, tilting our spine up, and then we're rolling our spine down, tilting up, and then rolling our spine down. Good. Now, then this time, we're going to come all the way up, and we will clasp our hands underneath our bodies, or you could hold on to the sides of your yoga mat if you like. The point is to have a little bit of external rotation in your shoulders so that it helps you when you're up there. Okay, rotating up, 2, 3, 4, and I'm pressing into my feet. I'm pressing my thighs up. I'm clasping my hands, rolling myself underneath my arms, underneath my body, and pressing my thighs up. My knees are going towards the opposite wall. My feet are pressing into the ground. And I have a very open chest here. And I'm inhaling into that chest. And you can, in fact, go onto your tiptoes of your feet if you like, and press into that. And really stretch up even more. I'm pressing my pelvis up so I don't overstretch my lower back. And now I'm lowering my heels, and I'm stretching my arms out, and I'm rolling back down. Good. And I'm going to lift my knees up and just roll a little bit to massage my back body. That was a lovely stretch. And I'm putting my feet down again. Once again, giving it a little bit of space. And I'll do it one more time. I'm tipping my pelvis up, holding on to my hands, clasping my hands, rolling my shoulders under my body, and pressing into my feet. Now you can do these variations. You can bend one knee and then lift your heel straight up, put your toe, rotate your ankle one way, rotate it another way, bend your knee, and then put your foot down. We'll do the other side. You're going to lift, bend the knee, stretch your heel up, rotate your ankle one way, rotate your ankle the other way, bend your knee, and put your foot down. Once again, go high up with your hips and your chest. Your pelvis is pressing up. And now we're going to ease onto the floor as though it's a marshmallow and we're just sinking into the floor. And we're holding on to our knees and feeling very present because the dog is whispering into your ear. Now I'm holding onto my feet and pressing my feet into the ceiling. This is Happy Baby. I have my arms on the inside of my knees, pressing into my feet, into the ceiling, my feet into the ceiling, and I'm jiggling a little. And now I'm putting my feet on the ground. Knees are bent. Sacrum is flat on the ground. You can have, if you like, you can have a blanket underneath your head. Now I am going to do just a few spinal twists here. We haven't done many twists at all. So we're going to, we can just drop our knees to the left and then we lift them up. We can drop our knees to the right. We can drop our knees to the left. And now we can actually press forward with if we're dropping our knees to the left, we can press forward our hip forward so we can stretch a little bit that right hip flexor, and we'll go back the other way. So we're going to drop our knees to the left and we can stretch our, to the right, and we're stretching our left hip forward. We're stretching a little bit our hip flexor and giving us a nice stretch, and we'll go the other way. So once again, we're pressing our hip forward a little, feeling the opening in the front of the hip flexor, the thigh. And this time, I'm going to lift my left leg up, hook it over my right leg, and then I'm shifting my hips to the left and dropping my knees to the right and looking towards the left. So this is a lovely deep twist here. It's lovely to feel so beautifully open at the end of a class. We're just breathing here. And I'm going back to the center, planting my feet down. Once again, my right leg is hooking over my left thigh, lifting my hips up, dropping my hips towards the right and dropping my knees towards the left, and then looking to the right. So the point of this is a beautiful twist. And I'm just laying my hand on my upper thigh. It just provides a little reminder that I'm twisting in that direction when I'm looking in the other. And this should be quite restful. Not entirely, because you are in quite an elaborate twist, but there should be no pain here. And we're just going to breathe into the chest, front chest that's really open up. And the one side of the chest is very open. When you inhale, you can exhale a little bit longer. So you can inhale for 4, and then you can exhale for 6. Inhale, and then exhale. Now I'm going to just shift my hips back to the center, roll my feet out, and we can, if you like, you can go into final relaxation. You can go put your legs up the wall. You can put your legs straight out. You can come up into a seated position if you like. And we can just rest here for a few moments. So my arms are out in a kind of V. My legs are separated. My feet are dropping out to the side. My head, I'm moving my head from side to side. And if you're chilly, you could have a blanket or socks or a wind parka. And you can just rest here, breathing easily, feeling the mat like a magic carpet suddenly becomes a rippling surface of a pond that you're floating on. And a beautiful warm sun is beating down on you. You can feel the rays heating your body, warming it. And you can smell the summer grasses. And I'll just leave you in silence here for 2 minutes. And one of the things that I like about this notion of
now is the time that we begin the practice of yoga. Is Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist monk, writes, "There is the mud and there is the lotus that grows out of the mud. We need the mud in order to make the lotus." So this is very reassuring and a good reminder. So I'll let you feel your breath, experience your breath, experience your body in this deep relaxation, and experience the tingle of sensation in your outer extremities, your feet, your hands. And you can wiggle your feet and you can wiggle your hands. You can clench your fist and then let it go. And clench your fist and then let it go. Clench your fist and then let it go. And then you can shake your hands a little. You can shake your feet. And in your own time, you can stay there if you like, or you can bend your knees and move onto your side, push yourself onto your side, and gently you can straighten your arms, push yourself up to a seated position. And reminding us of the mud and the lotus. It takes a little mud to make a lotus. It takes a little struggle to make a life, sometimes a lot of struggle. I will extend my love and my warm affection for you as your day begins. We all need a little loving. The teacher in me honors and salutes the teacher in you, and the student in me honors and salutes the student in you. Thank you for joining me today.